Hey, Rainmaker family. On this week's show, you are going to be hearing a recording from a book challenge we did inside of our Rainmaker community. The author went through our program and has had this amazing transformation experience. And in this recording, she talks about the highs and the lows and who she has become in the process. I know you'll find it inspirational, regardless of if you're in our Rainmaker Mastermind now or you're just listening and tuning into the podcast. This mama is incredible. Now, the book challenge has ended, but if you resonate with her messaging at all, you can get your copy and we'll link it in the show notes. But regardless, this is a powerful episode of how mindsets play such a powerful role in your life and in your business. I was just thinking about this right before this, and I feel like there are so many people around us, and I know I've done this in my own journey as well, who have these dreams and who you feel like there's this tug deep down inside your heart, inside your belly, wherever, where you know that you know that you know that you are supposed to do something. And a lot of people live for so long in a place of not doing anything. They get comfortable in just the sitting and hoping and wishing that things will happen and not actually doing the work. And so today is a really big deal because not only did this mama like have a dream and have a desire, but she actually took the time to do the work, which was probably at times painful. And there are probably, dishes piling up and other things that she could have been doing, but she chose to create this amazing book for you to read so that you could have the transformation that she's experienced. So this Rainmaker Mama came through one of our Rainmaker challenges in 2020. Maybe you've gone through our challenge. She came in just like you. She didn't know us and she was pretty broke. And she'll tell you that. Like, she didn't have a lot of money. She was doing all the things, like all of the things while raising 6 kids. She had a brand new baby that she was nursing. And she saw one of our Facebook ads and is like, I have to do this. This is the thing. And so they jumped in, started building their Amazon business. And we all know what happened in 2020. And with her family, her husband got laid off and they decided this situation is not happening to me. It is happening for me. And that was a big mindset shift that was going to carry them forward. So even though that was a $70,000 pay decrease from him losing his job, they were in Rainmakers, they were launching products, they were having this mindset shift happening, and they had peace and they knew that it was going to be okay. And with that, with the amazing community around them, like the Rainmaker community that so many of you are in and experiencing, they have launched products. And we're going to go into more of the numbers, but she started with around $800. And since then, so 2020 started her business. We talked to her last week and it's just like, what is about like the revenue that you've made? And it was over $500,000 in revenue from their business. And of course, they have other revenue streams that are doing different things, but from the Amazon business alone, from the Rainmaker method, which you are learning, that has been the financial aspect. But not only that, it is who she has become in the process. So I am so excited to have you on. So I want you all, if you want to stand up in your chair, I will stand up and give us a standing ovation. Yes, a standing ovation to Kimberly. So welcome, Kimberly. I'm going to stand because this is a big deal.
Yes. What's up, Kimberly? Welcome. The Maker Mama Challenge has been a dream of Kimberly's. Welcome, Kimberly. So, Kimberly, we would love to dive into this a little bit, but you didn't start as an author. You didn't start as a business owner. Take us back to the beginning. Okay. Take us back to the beginning. Where were you when you saw that Facebook ad?
Okay. Well, just to give some context to my 2020 tech skills, I didn't even have a Facebook account. Like, my husband and I shared one, and my usage of Facebook was like, hey, so-and-so had a baby. Let me see. Yeah. And so he was actually the one who saw Chelsea's ad, and he's like, hey, I think you can do this. So I looked into it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely happening. And at that time, I would say I was a serial entrepreneur. I had tried all the things and it didn't matter what it was. I always came up with like a shoestring of a profit margin that just wasn't sustainable. Like, my time was not worth $20 for 5 hours of work. It never evened out for me. And part of that was, being in a hours for dollars trade in a town that was pretty poverty stricken. It just didn't make sense. So saw the ad, was like, I could definitely do this. And just had no idea like where we would be 3 years later. But yeah, saw the ad, got started right away. So I joined the Rainmaker Challenge just like many of you have and went through it, cranked through 7 days, just crunching those replays at like 2 a.m., loving it, addicted to helium 10 like in the first week, and just getting really excited. And I would go for walks and I don't even know if my feet hit the ground. I would like take my kids for walks and I was just like flying because I was so excited about these opportunities and just started dreaming about things that I never thought were possible. Like if finances were an issue, what could we do? And it was captivating. So that was my passion to like plunge forward. And I didn't launch this beautiful Pinterest worthy product that everyone would be really jealous of. I launched a really boring, like super cheap product just to get started. And I just sent more inventory in today because that product is still rocking and rolling. So if you're in a place where you're coming from a small budget, just get on Helium 10 and find something that works for you and go for it. So that was our first adventure. And then we ended up in the position where we saw, okay, my husband's not going to have a job anymore. We have this thing. Let's go. And we did. We just poured in. We launched more products. We bought another Amazon business. We maintained that one. And then we brought everything kind of like under one roof and just started like optimizing and getting things automated so that we could like really step back and see the business run itself. And like, I didn't really have a business in 2020 when I started. Like Chelsea said, I was just a nursing mom making meal prep for other people. That was my current side hustle. And to go from that place to like managing businesses later, 3 years later is wild. And it was this community and these people and running with people that had, a common goal that really helped me break through some of the limitations I had put on myself. So yeah, I started out like many of you in the challenge.
Yeah. And some of you are totally relating in the comments. Oh my gosh, this feels like she's telling my story.
Mhm.
Some of you also might be coming in like you're in a better place financially, and that's totally okay. Like the thing is with entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
like it is a transformative
Yeah.
experience. Like
Mm.
who you become in the process of really committing to a business and really going after it.
Yeah.
Specifically, Amazon, we love because it's such a lever for pulling that like transformation aspect of the who you become in the process. And Kimberly, talk about a little bit. I mean, like who you were then. You talk about some of the mindset shifts that came, but like, you're in this small town. I think you were telling us the other day because we were like, do people like know what you do? And you're like, no, like this, like people still don't even really know. Like give people a picture of like your town and kind of the mindsets that were there, that you kind of grew up in. And then if you could, like, I don't know, when was the first time that you really felt like you saw, because sometimes these mindset sets you hear them and you're like, that sounds good, right?
Mhm.
But then like sometimes there's a point in life where something happens and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually took that to, like, I actually learned that because the way I showed
Mhm.
up in that situation was different than how I would have a year ago. So I know it's a two-part question, but kind of paint the picture of where you came from in your small town. And then also, was there a moment that you really felt like some of these mindsets were starting to stick?
Okay, so our town, you guys, is super small and there's not a ton of opportunity here as far as like for a business owner. We have a lot of sprout and drought businesses like coffee shop, yay, and then it's gone. And it kind of happens with like little boutiques and things like that because our community is just not like in a place to support that here. And so it is pretty discouraging as an entrepreneurial hearted person. I didn't really have anything to show for it, but an entrepreneurial heart to see that happen all the time and know that like there are resources somewhere, surely, right? And then, so yeah, our town, super small, kind of notorious for sprout and drought businesses. Like in our state, we have a top 10 of like most crime by per capita, whatever. And we're like number two, and we're in this tiny town. It's really sad. So we're living in this place that just kind of feels like the bottom, And mindset shifts as far as like that moment of, oh, wow, this is different. I can pursue this. It was you guys. I was borrowing your faith, like other challengers, other masterminders. I was borrowing your faith when I heard your stories in the challenge. And I'm seeing like these are regular people. These are moms like me. Nicole Andrini, I think she may be on the call. She was she really inspired me early in the journey because she was a mom of littles and she did the thing. And I'm like, I can, if she can do the thing, I can do the thing. So that moment of mindset shift really came in me borrowing the faith from you guys and just seeing like other people started where I started and they can finish, well, so I can finish well. I think I remember one of my favorite quotes from Nicole early on. She was talking about like when they were kind of in a season in life where investing in their business it took a leap of faith. And she talked about like, I think it was like eggs and mayonnaise sandwiches. They had a lot of eggs and mayonnaise sandwiches. And I'm like, we're in the eggs and mayonnaise zone, but we made it work. And for you who have, more resources to invest in your business, that's awesome. But for anyone on the call who doesn't, please be encouraged that that is just an opportunity for your greatness. It's not a block or a challenge or a wall. It's an area where you're going to have breakthrough so others can have breakthrough. And if you agree with me, raise your hand. Breakthrough is not comfortable.
Mhm. Yeah.
If you ever get to a moment where your palms are sweaty and your hands are shaking and you need like some CBD oil like behind your ears, then like breakthrough's coming. Okay. Well, if you're in that place, I just want to encourage you to keep going because even in this thing, there were multiple times where I just was like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. And this group rallied along beside me, mentors, Steven and Chelsea, rallied along beside me and encouraged me. Yes, you can, because you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for them. So
Mm. That's so good. Yeah. Having a community around you, having people like this group to cheer you on, because where you're living or the friend group that you have could be really good friends, but not going down this journey. And it doesn't really matter if you are coming in with a huge savings that you're ready to invest and you're ready to hit the ground running and like price is not an objection, or if you're coming in with like nothing, you still need people around you and you still need that encouragement. And so I love that, Kimberly, your story is that for so many people in the same way that Nicole was that story for you. It's just like this ripple effect. We create a culture here of celebration. And Kimberly, you are such a big part of that. So way to go. I love it. I would love to know, like, what were some of your financial goals with Rainmakers and coming in? Like, what were you hoping would happen financially?
it's funny in the very beginning, I'm thinking, okay, we can just like survive, like replace my husband's income and just survive, like let's get the bills paid. That was and that felt like a huge, big, hairy, audacious goal, like just getting the bills paid felt huge. But it wasn't very long until I started thinking like on my, cloud nine walks, I was like, oh wow, we could go on family vacations. We had never been on a family vacation. We
Mm.
could then I started thinking even bigger, like, "Oh my gosh, like, we could pay off our house and my mama's house and his mama's house," and, like, just thinking about, like, what financial freedom looks like for us. What does it look like when we're not tied down to anything or any, like, limitations as far as finances, and so I wanted to build legacy for my children. Not that I wanted them to, like, freeload the rest of their life. There's a big difference. I'm not trying to build something so my children don't have to work. I'm trying to build something for my children to work into and grow from, that my ceiling could be their floor kind of thing. You guys hear Steven and Chelsea talk about. So
Yeah.
building something for my children that kind of sets them apart from the standard education situation that we have. That was a big deal for me. And then the more we started doing the thing, the more we started running with the community and seeing what other people's goals are. Like Madeline bought $1 million beach house, like I'm seeing these other things and I'm like, whoa, my goal wasn't all that hairy. And then we started thinking about other things that we can do for our kids. And some things that we have done for our children is they get to be part of this super awesome tutoring program where they go a couple days a week and it's like really expensive. I never would have thought we could have involved the children in anything like that before. But it's great because it gives them a place to grow with other kids and run with other kids, big goals too. And it also gives us space for ours. So that was a big thing. And then another thing is just like providing jobs for people. So the idea of providing jobs for people was really exciting. And then I've always been a fan of Chip and Joe. Do y'all know Chip and Joe games?
Oh, yeah.
And
Bestie.
yeah, I love them. I actually have a
Future.
letter. I showed Kelly. I had a letter from Joe. I framed it in my office because I just love them so much. And they're such an inspiration to me. And one of the things that they do, of course, is like rebuilding Waco and like kind of dusting off that old like juju that they had going on in their town, which was even worse than ours. And then rebuilding with beautiful homes. And I love real estate and homes. And that's something that we started doing actually in 2021. We started buying real estate because we could appease the government with, putting money into real estate properties that no one else wanted. So we started buying tax liens. And they're like, these really don't be ugly pieces of land that are just going to waste because no one's paying the taxes on them. So we started investing in those. And yeah, just also like we started with a little small Amazon business that grew and grew and grew. And then also, when we went through the Myron Golden training that Steven just showed you guys, I was like, I want to be the Disney dude. Like, I want to, or at least help the Disney dude with his thing, like I want to be there. I want to do that. And it felt again like almost ridiculous to think that that was even a possibility for someone like me in my town and our situation. But I just was really excited about it. And that passion led to action for me. And so, like, coming to a point of publishing a book was like the next step in the rung of like getting to that point of taking this story, inspiring others, and like kind of moving into the level 3, and then even looking like, what does it look like to get to next level 4? And at some point, my goals shifted from being solely financial to impact. Like, how can others be impacted? How can other towns be impacted to come out of the dust, so to speak? And so, yeah, it kind of shifted from money to people, my goals and impact. That was a big deal for us, like in the last year, and then coming into 2023, we just want to see more lives changed with, a renewed mindset of what's possible if you have a process and you have the people and you put the work into it.
Yeah.
So
I love
good.
that. Like, and I think I want to highlight that. So anyone here on the call, no matter where you're at in your journey, you should hear that. Like at the end of your life, you're not going to be on your deathbed looking back and be like, man, I sold 5,000 widgets on Amazon. Like you're not going to look back on that. Like
Mhm.
Amazon, like creating leverage to the Rainmaker method, like this is a vehicle to those non-monetary
Mhm.
goals. And we asked her about monetary goals, but she tells all this other thing. It's like we call this the bubbly benefits, right? It's like the overflowing stuff that
Mm.
happens because of the business,
Yeah.
putting your kids in private school when you never thought you always thought you had to homeschool and like or investing in real estate or like impacting your like these are the things. So like as you no matter where you're at in the journey, I want you to come up with those things. Like what are the things beyond the business? When your business does your 6 figures, when your business does 7 figures, like what are the things that are beyond that? Because oftentimes that is the thing that keeps you in the transformative process of building a business, of pushing through the walls. Kimberly, I wanted to talk a little bit about the book, okay? Because like the book was something that I feel like was another step of faith. Like
Mhm.
starting the business was a step of faith. I mean, of course, you were excited about the possibilities, and there were some walls in there to overcome. But I feel like the book was one that you felt like, man, I really supposed to do this, but you kind of hesitantly stepped. And like
Mhm.
even this, you're like, I'm a little bit like it's kind of scary to put your life
Mhm.
out there into the
Yeah.
world
It's
and a
very
book
vulnerable.
that's talking about your history and your childhood and all these things. Now you're putting it out into this group. Like who did you have to become
Yeah.
to step into that? Because I think there's some people here that also have a message in here they want to get out.
Mhm.
And I think you could speak to that.
Dude, I think everyone has a message in there that needs to get out. Like, I'm not saying everyone has to write a book, but we all have to get to a place where we feel comfortable sharing with the next generation because that's like your breakthrough can have a multiplication effect if you're okay with being vulnerable for a second. So, building the business, writing the book, all those things happened quietly on my laptop, in my comfy seat on the couch with my iced coffee. And I had to come to a place where I stopped saying things like, I'm just really shy. I'm just too shy.
Mhm.
I just can't get in front of people. I just can't do that. I'm just not. I had to get to a place where I stopped communicating that about myself, first of all. I just do it scared. You just do it scared sometimes. And it's still
Mhm.
not any more comfortable. I'm still, sweaty palm and shaky in front of a camera, but I do it out of love. Like you'll do things out of love that you would never do for yourself. And, think about it like if your child has a serious illness or something and they need a medication, you're going to do like sell the car, sell the dog, figure it out, get the medicine as soon as possible, right? And it's because you're doing something for someone that you love. And so out of love, you can do things that within yourself and for yourself you would never do. So I think moving from a place of being kind of focused on my own comfort and then realizing that what is there to offer and what's there to like put out into the world is for you, and having love for you to do that overcame, it wasn't really me. I think it was just the love for other people that I wanted to see had this breakthrough too, is what helped kind of drag me out of that self mode into like, I can do this for you guys mode.
Mm.
That's so good. Kimberly, I just love hearing the wisdom come out of you because Kimberly works kind of behind the scenes. Like, she built her Amazon business, but then quickly became a coach in our community. We started to see how she was working and the systems she would build. We actually pivoted her out of coaching into our leadership team. She's actually like our business ops manager in Rainmaker. So Kimberly is now the person that kind of connects all the dots in Rainmakers. Like there's a million projects going on, and
Mm.
she's kind of the connector of everyone. She is kind of the nervous system of the Rainmaker body, so to say, And so that didn't come overnight,
Yeah.
but she carries a lot of wisdom, but it's not always put out there into the world. So we're just super excited to put this book out there and just like push this out there, kind of sponsor this and like
Mm.
and do it all together.
And make sure to order that book to support her. I know I've got a copy in my house, but I'm going to go order another one to give away to a friend. But Kimberly, I would just like love for you to maybe just encourage some mamas without giving away too much of the context of your book, because I know you're going to go through it and go more into depth about the transformation. But what are some like closing words or encouragement that you would speak to our Rainmaker mamas just about like mindset or like overcoming, or like what kind of words of encouragement as we start Monday, as we start this book challenge? What would you love to leave with our Rainmakers?
Find someone or somewhere, a community that is going to keep you with one foot out of your comfort zone at all times. The
Mm.
minute you get comfortable, that means it's time to level up. So that's something this community has done for me. Not gonna lie, kind of resented you guys a little bit for it at first because I'm like, really? I just got comfortable again. But that's where growth happens. So I just want to encourage each of you to find a place where you constantly have one foot out of your comfort zone so you can continue to grow no matter what level you're at. You can always grow up one more. So
Mm.
That's
That
good.
is good. So good. All right. Well, just in the chat, drop anything, any nuggets of wisdom that you pulled from this. If you're excited, if you want to just like congratulate, all the heart emojis towards Kimberly. Kimberly, Stephen and I are just so proud of you, of your perseverance, of who you have become just as a business owner and a mama. Like you are doing incredible things. And I feel like you're just on like the tiny brink of like what is to come in your life. And so I just want to thank you. It is super vulnerable to put yourself out there in a book. You're, being delivered on the internet to strangers, super vulnerable to share your life and your journey. And so I just want to say, well done for persevering. So we're so proud of you. The Rainmakers are so proud of you. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rainmaker Family Show. Hey, if you are not a part of our Rainmaker Mastermind, we have a new opportunity for you to book a one-on-one strategy call with one of our Rainmaker coaches.
If you want to get a call with them, see if it's a good fit for you to work with us to build a business that allows you to have time freedom and financial freedom, you can get that call at makeitrainmama.com/podcast. That's makeitrainmama, MOMMA.com/podcast.